Let me tell you something that society will never tell you. Congratulations. You left that man. I'm proud of you. You left that man. I'm happy for you. You decided to center yourself in your life. Girl, I'm so glad that you did that. See, society will never tell you that. Society will ask you things like, are you sure? Like, what did you do? Did you do everything you could to make it work? Did you go to therapy? Did you meet with your pastor? No, girl. Congratulations. You decided to leave a relationship in which you weren't aligned, in which you weren't respected, in which your needs weren't met. Now, I know some people think that maybe you should have tried harder, but I am not for that. I am for you being in relationships in which there is ease. I'm not for the whole relationships should be hard. I'm not for that you should tolerate disrespect and misalignment for the name of love. If you're new here, welcome to Heal the New Sexy, where we say, girl, you left that relationship. Congratulations. My name is Cynthia. I am a licensed therapist and coach. And for any woman who is going through heartbreak, a breakup, or a divorce, I want to say congratulations. You may not realize it now, but you've just done the best thing for your life. You saved you center you. And I want to talk about a few things as it relates to when a woman decides to leave a relationship that's no longer serving us. Many of us were shaped and conditioned in order to sacrifice, overrule ourselves, overfunction for love, and no more of that. No more of that. Before I get deeper in, I want to say this. I have a Healing from Heartbreak course on May the 2nd at 12 p.m. Eastern. You don't want to miss it. The link will be down in the description. It also will be the first pinned comment. So let's get to it. Girl, I am so proud of you, okay? I remember, it's been almost 8 years. I remember 8 years ago leaving a relationship that wasn't serving me. Many of you are in relationships that are toxic. You're in a relationship with men who have decided that they are just not going to care for you. They tell you they love you, but they don't provide care. And as women, we need care. I really believe that someone can't love you without caring for you. If you have to shrink, if you have to minimize, if you have to self-abandon in order to be in the relationship, if you have to be quiet, if you can't speak your truth, if you are overlooked, if your needs are overlooked, if your needs are minimized, then that relationship is not healthy for you. And if you left, congratulations. Many of us witness our mothers and our aunties and the sisters at church stay in relationship with men that were toxic, that weren't healthy. We watched them endure, and we were taught that that's what a good woman looks like. But that's not what a good woman looks like. That's a fallacy, okay? Let me tell you something. What you did wasn't a weakness. It wasn't failure. You did something that some people and women don't have courage to do. You decided that you were going to be resilient as a single woman. You decided that if I'm going to raise these babies, I'd rather raise these babies by myself. And guess what? I want to let you know that your life is going to get better. There are many women, right, who are, emotionally intelligent, spiritually aligned, and this is the most self-respecting decision that you've made for yourself. This is the decision that more women need to make, because leaving is not losing. Sometimes leaving is the win. When you can leave with yourself, when you've made a decision that enough is enough and I'm not going to lose who I am, I'm not going to sacrifice who I am for this relationship, because he's not sacrificing who he is for the relationship. He's still able to have an identity, but I don't. I walk by the mirror and I no longer recognize who I am. Who is that woman that's staring back at me? This is my high school sweetheart, but baby, he's not being sweet to you anymore. Cynthia, we made vows to each other, but he's not living up to the vow. This is the most self-respecting thing that you've done, is leaving this relationship. Okay? Listen, we live in a world that praises women for staying loyal, for staying patient. Maybe he needs to grow. Maybe if I love him more, he will change. We live in a world that praises women for being forgiven. We live in a world that praises women for being tolerant and staying silent and staying small. Even when the relationship is dead, even when you're emotionally starving, even when you're carrying the entire relationship on your back. Even when you're going through postpartum depression and he decided to cheat, the society will tell you to stay. Maybe he was going through something, things were very stressful. What were you doing? What was your mood like? Even when he feels entitled to your body, but you just buried your mother. and you're grieving, and he wants you to hurry up and get over the grief so that you can tend to him, because his needs and wants and desires is more important than you as a person. Because guess what? You were an accessory to his life. You weren't a partner in his life. And you get applause for endurance. You know, you got to be a strong soldier. I know Beyonce and Destiny's Child said, I want a soldier, but there's many men out here who want a soldier. They want women to be ride or die. And that man planned to ride you until you die. And then when you die, he planned to get with somebody else. Come on now. Come on. So your applause for endurance. You're not applause for discernment. You're not applause, right? For saying, listen, I'm not living in this relationship. I'm dying. This relationship is sucking the life out of me. I keep giving and giving and giving. And this man has no integrity because he doesn't pour back into me. He just a leech, and he just takes what he wants from me, whether it's that my emotional labor, my physical labor, whether it's my finances. I'm drowning in debt because I'm carrying the family, because he has issues. He's spending money on women. I'm making sure that our children have the tuition to go to the private school. I'm driving our children to all of their extracurricular activities. Meanwhile, on the inside, I'm dying. I want to scream. I want to run away, but I can't. But society will ask you, you know, have you prayed? Did God give you clearance to leave that relationship? You think God want me to be in a relationship in which I'm dying? Oh, you're supposed to pick up your cross and die. Not for no relationship. The only person who should be dying on a relationship is Jesus. But not me. Listen. That's the problem, because people don't praise you for your discernment. People don't praise you when you make a decision to leave a relationship that was killing you. No, they don't praise you for that. Because what we have normalized in society is that staying in an unhealthy relationship, that makes you strong. Girl, you so strong. You just have to hold on. You have to hold on. He's going to change. Just keep loving him. Just keep loving him. He's going to change. Keep praying for him. He's going to change. He can do all of those things. But that doesn't mean you have to stay. Congratulations, girl. You left. Listen, let's talk about what leaving actually means. Leaving that man means you stop betraying yourself to keep him. You stop negotiating your standards. You stop shrinking just to be chosen. You stop dealing with dysfunction for the name of potential. You chose reality over fantasy. And many of us have an issue with that, because that man can future fake and he can tell us that he is going to change, and we will sit there. But the truth is, he has no intention to change. He knows that he can just say words to us and we will remain the same. He will cheat and come back and tell us he's sorry. He'll tell us all the things that happened in his childhood as justification for poor behavior, and we will stay there and we feel sorry for him. He pulls on our nurturance and uses it as a weapon against us for us to stay in an unhealthy and a toxic relationship. And the cycle keeps happening over and over and over and over again. You choose peace over chaos. No more are you staying up late at night waiting to see when he will come home. No longer are you watching him go and spend time with his homeboys and spend time with his friends, and he's able to do all of the company events, but he can't spend time with you and his family. You watch him pour into the people at church and pray and prophesy to the people at church, but he can't even speak life into you. When's the last time he laid hands on you and prayed for you? He hasn't. You see him being charming and charismatic outside, but guess what? At home, he's a hellion. So leaving means you decide that I'm going to choose peace over being in a relationship with a person who doesn't love me, who doesn't care for me, my physical, my mental, my spiritual, my emotional well-being. You choose you, and people have a problem when you choose you. People have a problem when you say, I am no longer going to negotiate my care with a man who stood before God and people and said that he was going to take care of me a certain way. Or a man who, when we engaged in pillow talk, he told me that he was going to love me and take care of me. But he lied to me. He was dishonest about how he was going to love me. But when you choose you, baby doll, that deserves to be celebrated. Matter of fact, today, or whenever you watch this, you need to go celebrate. I don't care if you just go to the grocery store and get you a little cupcake and put a little candle in it and blow the candle out. You just celebrate. Matter of fact, pat yourself on the back right now. Girl, you did that. And if you are a woman and you've already left that man and your life is done a 180, I want you to encourage the other girlies. I want you to tell the other girlies all the great things that have happened in your life since you left that man. I know your mama was like, girl, he a good man, Savannah. And you know, Savannah's man was cheating on his wife with her. Savannah's man had a wife and a child, and he was cheating. But you're, okay. Because sometimes the most toxic advice we get is from women who settled. Listen, let me help you address the guilt. Because sometimes when we leave relationships and we choose ourselves, we as women feel guilty because we have been taught to be sugar and spice and everything nice. We have been taught just to sacrifice ourselves for the well-being of the relationship. That it's not just about me anymore, it's about we. But sometimes you need to choose you. Okay? Listen. Sometimes you feel like you gave up too soon, or maybe you should have stayed to make things work out. But Cynthia, what about my children? Don't they deserve to have a mother and the father in the house? But I'm asking you, is there a mother and the father in the house presently? Was there a mother and a father in the house before you left? Or was it just you doing everything? He would go to work, you would come home, we played the game. You would go to work, you would pick the kids up, you would come home, you would cook, you would clean. You do homework. There were nights that you cried. There were nights that you had to figure out how to pay the bills and you had a grown man in the house with you. There were days where you guys didn't speak to each other, but you showed up to the events and you had to put on. You guys had to play like you were this perfect couple and family to put on. You were good for his media appearances, but behind closed doors, you were sleeping in separate rooms. Listen, but let me tell you something. You are not obligated to stay in something that is not healthy, not reciprocal, and not aligned. Guilt will have you romanticizing a situation that's draining you. Guilt will have you forgetting how much you cried, how much you sacrificed, the days that you went hungry because you couldn't eat, the days that you were at work and you couldn't function because you learned about him betraying you, or you learned about the things that he was lying to you about. Guilt will have you minimizing how much you tolerated. Guilt will have you delusional about the pain that you experience. Guilt will have you thinking that there's not another man out there that will love you in the way that you deserve to be loved. Guilt is a liar. But let me tell you the truth. Hey, you didn't leave too soon. You probably stayed too long. You stayed too long in the dysfunction. Y'all hear me say this all the time, unless you're new here. If you have to use the skills from your childhood in order to be in that romantic relationship, then that is not the man for you. You try to figure out why you got an autoimmune disease, but just like Tisha Campbell, you done left that man and now all of a sudden the disease is gone. Now you don't have to deal with a STI, a UTI, or a STD because you left that man. He talked about some, baby, I don't know how you got that. You no longer have to deal with the man where there's constant disrespect, where you go out, he criticizes how you look, but then you see he has a wandering eye and he's intentional about looking at other women in front of you, or he's next to you and he's on his cell phone and you see him with the Instagram models and he's hearting it and he's commenting it, but he hasn't complimented you in years. You've cut your hair, you lost weight, you've done all of the things in order to please and satisfy him, and he's not satisfied. But let me tell you something. The reason why that man can't be satisfied with you is because he is not satisfied with himself. All the things that he told you that you need to change about you was truly a projection. He talks about you having low self-esteem and low self-worth, but that's really him. And you're trying to love him into a place and a space that he doesn't want to go. But girl, congratulations, because you left that man. Listen, let's address the fear. There's the fear. The fear that you won't find better. The fear of starting over. The fear of being alone. The fear that you may not be able to take care of your children by yourself. The fear that society pushes on women, especially if you're of a certain age or if you have children. You know, oh, you a baby mama. You a single mother now. Your value has gone down. Baby, you got to address that fear. You can't allow fear to lie to you. Have you signed up for the Healing from Heartbreak course? Because if not, this is the time to do it. But let me tell you something. Being alone is not the worst thing that can happen to you. Oh, when the men say, and I love it when the men say, you gonna die alone, you gonna die by yourself. But I was born by myself. I was born by myself. And just because you're in a relationship is not a guarantee that when the Lord decides to take you, that He's gonna take both of y'all together. Many women, if you're this type of woman who fears being alone, you have to address the fear. You need to know how strong you are. You need to know how capable you are. You need to know that you're going to make it by yourself. See, sometimes you're using that man as a safety blanket, but really he's a cactus. Being in a relationship where you feel unseen, unheard, and unfulfilled, that's worse. You didn't lose a man. You gained clarity, your energy, your time back, your self-respect, your skin clear, you losing weight, your cortisol is down, you sleeping good at night. Baby, you can put the thermometer on what you need it on so you can have it cold. Listen, life has gotten good. Your money and your account look better because you ain't got to worry about that man talking about something. He ain't got no gas money. He don't have his, he wanted to go 50-50, but he don't have his half of the rent. So now you paying all the rent. Now you paying all the mortgage. You got peace when you walk in your house look the way you want it to look. You clean up the house, you leave, you come back, your house still clean. Your house smell good, smell like lilacs and lilies, and it don't smell like no stinky man. You can decorate your house the way you want to decorate your house. You better let go of that fear. But Cynthia, what if you can? And congratulations, because you left that man. Listen, and let's address shame. Because they love to use shame. Like people be like, let's bring shame back. Let's not. Let's not. Shame is a form of manipulation and control. And they really love to shame women into submission, into staying with unhealthy men and staying in relationships in which they don't thrive. You should thrive in your relationships. Whether it's friendship, romantic, whatever, you should thrive. Society will have you feeling embarrassed for leaving instead of embarrassed for what you endured. Crazy. Society will shun you for leaving an unhealthy relationship, a relationship that was killing you, and a relationship that was you dying. Do you know what's crazy to me? Like when you go through a divorce and then people want to pick sides. And what's crazier to me is that the women who knows that your husband was cheating on you, know that he was doing all kind of things, and they will turn their back on you. Or what else is crazy is that your husband will have access to these women that are supposed to be your friend. And he get to tell all these women all this about you and they believe it. They were your hate. They were haters. They're haters. They're not girls. Let them go. Let them go. Okay? Society will have you thinking that you're too picky, right? That you're hard to please and you're not. They'll have you trying to accept the bare minimum because especially if you're talking to a woman whose man is not loving her down. Look how society treats Sierra. They think they always attempt to shame her because she had one child with one man. And they do not like how Russell Wilson loves her down and takes care of her. They do not like it. Society will have you thinking that you have to settle. Society will have you thinking that you have to shrink. And so now society tries to shame you because you had that man's baby. You could have been married and had that man's baby and go through a divorce and society will shame you. Oh, and call you a single mom. They don't know the situation in which led to you making the decision to become a single mother. You went from a wife and a mother to now society wants to call you a baby mom. Because you know why? Society attempts to humble you. They don't want you to know that you could be a single mom and that girl. They don't know that you could be a single mom and pay for your baby to go to the Olympics or take your baby to a trip to Disney or take your baby to New York Fashion Week because that's what your baby is interested in being a fashion designer. They don't know that you could be a single mom and single-handedly fund your baby going to college. They don't want you to be a single mom and know that your body can look good and you can eat good, you can live good, you can drive good. They don't want you to do that. They want you to be single and suffering. They want you to be what? Single and suffering. And when you make the decision, like the Yin Yang twins, I'm smoke by myself, drink by myself, for real. When you make the decision that I'm going to do it by myself, when you make the decision that you don't care about what nothing society has to say about you, then you got a girl like me saying, girl, congratulations. I'm proud of you. Hey. Listen, you are no longer willing to settle for less than what aligns with you, and that's growth. Society don't want you to grow. The people sometimes in your circle don't want you to grow because if you grow, you become a mirror and a reflection for ways in which they have settled, for ways in which they're accepting less than, for ways in which they are miserable. Listen, I want you to reframe this. You didn't leave because you couldn't handle the relationship. You left because you could finally see it clearly. I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. Hey! I can see all the obstacles in my way. And it was that man. Now it's going bright, bright, sunshiny day. Yes, that's it. Yes, that's it. Yes, that's it. Let me tell you something. You left because finally you can see it clearly. That's maturity, that's healing, that's self-awareness. You made a decision, baby, I'm not going to die here in this relationship. I know whether it's just me loving myself or loving myself. And I also know that there's a man out there that is willing to love me in the ways that I'm going to teach him how to love me. I don't have to accept the scraps of a man who refuses to love me the way that I deserve to be loved. I deserve a man where our values align. I deserve a man who really likes me as a person, likes me to my core. He's not tolerating me for what he can get from me. I deserve to be with a man that when he rolls over and he sees me, it does something to his soul. I don't deserve a man who's just entitled to my body and entitled to my labor. When it comes to my mind, he doesn't care. So if nobody has told you yet, let me tell you this. You left that man? Congratulations. Not because it was easy, but because it was necessary. Not because you didn't love him, but finally you decided to love yourself more. And that is the beginning of a completely different life. A life where you wake up in the morning, not on antidepressant medications, not having panic attacks, not having to go to the doctor because something is happening in your body. That is a life where you wake up peaceful, thanking God for another day. A day that you can celebrate and enjoy, that you can love yourself and love your children if you're a mother, and you can go on and engage in your hobbies where you are self-devoted, where you engage in self-love and you understand your worth. That is a different life. Now, I want to see you at the Heal from Heartbreak course. If you're not a part of the membership, select the membership. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. This is Heal the New Sexy. My name is Cynthia. And if you wonder what this is, I got my port removed. Your girl is cancer free and you about to be sick of me.